Hello and welcome to the first episode of Should Cost Unplugged. Today I want to calculate a plastic injection molded part using Tset software. I'm going step by step through the cost calculation and I will show you how easy it is to get real production costs. In my case, I have no drawing. I have only this 3D model and I will show you how it works also with only the 3D model. Then let's go in medias res with the calculation. I already created a project with the name test1 and now I add a calculation. I know already that I'm using a cost module and I will not start a calculation from scratch. Therefore, I use the button part automated. Then I will give the inputs. We are calculating a housing, part number, lifetime. We have 8 years with 150,000 pieces per year, also peak. I will choose Romania because Romania is a well-known country for injection molding. We have procurement purchased that influences the overhead factors. I will use the last valid master data. We have currency euro and my calculation title, I will title it to the country, so Romania, and it is a best practice greenfield. That means no special restrictions for the calculation. So then I want to have a picture here for a better orientation. When I have a bomb with many parts, it is always good to see on one glance which part is it. So therefore I will switch to my 3D object. I'm using a very practical software named Spinfire Ultimate. I can find all informations that I need with this program. And now I will take a picture. I don't want to see this coordinate system. I use snipping. Copy, and I paste it here and we have it included. So the next is to choose the right technology. As I said, we have here a plastic injection molded part. That means I will use the cost module injection molding plastic injection. Continue. Net weight. So I can calculate the weight with the software. Therefore, I have here calculate the weight. So now I see we have the wrong material. I will choose the material to ABS. ABS is a well-known material for such housings or in automotive industry, but also other industry. And then I will take the gram. So, and now we see this part has a weight of 87.6 gram. The material is ABS, as I already said. So, selection of the shape. What does that mean? So, I am searching very similar from the geometry part that fits to my part. This is the first thing that I'm looking for. The second thing is, okay, I see this part have holes, and that means I need a slider. So the second thing is I'm also searching for a shape that has a slider. And the third thing is that I'm looking for a hot runner because I don't want to have waste through the runner system. Because when the volume is very high, it makes sense to choose a runner system that has no waste. Therefore, I think this one is Pretty similar to my part, we have one slider and we have a hot runner system. So I select it and continue. Then we came to the part properties. That means, okay, part quality, how precise must the part be? And we are talking from a housing, so I would say we are talking from standard and no high precise part. Main wall thickness. I can also calculate the main wall thickness with the software that works with this button. Okay, here this button, analyze the wall thickness, and now I can select the range that I see, okay, which color fits to which wall thickness, and I choose the range 1 millimeter to 3 millimeter, and then I see, okay, the differences in the colors. Analyze. So, and now I see everything, nearly everything is green, and also the most thickness is 2 millimeters. Main wall thickness is 2 millimeters and the max wall thickness is also 2 millimeters. So now we need the dimensions of the part. There is a very helpful option. So, and now I have all main dimensions. In the length we have 202 millimeters. In the height we have 37 millimeters. And in the width we have 127.4. So now it is automated, calculated the projected area. I can take a glance if the orientation fits. Yeah, it fits. And now we came to the next coating type. We have no coating type. Which injection type we have? We have no insert in my case. We have no forming process. That means I would choose normal. Also no family tooling. Also no cleaning needed. Safe calculation. So, and now I get the full calculation for the part. And now we will take a look at the single cost elements. What does it need? We see here the summary of material costs, manufacturing costs, and overhead costs. And now I want to see, okay, what is the price from the material? What is the background data behind this calculation? Therefore, I click here in material. We have only one material, ABS. And now I see here, okay, the price for the ABS material is €1.96 for 1 kilogram. And the result is combined with the weight 0.18 euros per piece. Then I will go into the manufacturing process, and here we see, okay, the software automated choose 2 amount per cycle, 2 pieces. That means we have a cavity of 2. We can also select another cavity, for example 4. And what does that mean? Now it is calculating with the new cavity the machine. The software is calculating the clamping force because of the projected area and considered also the dimensions. These 2 factors are responsible for the choosing of the correct machine. On the one hand, as I said, clamping force, what is needed through the projected area. And then the other hand, the dimensions, because the parts has to fit on the tool and the tool has to fit within the tie bars. So, and then we see, okay, we have now chosen 4 cavities with a price of the manufacturing with 0.13. That means We have a cycle time with 29 seconds. We have automated all systems, what we need, all machines included that can generate the machine hourly rate. We have automated the setup, what is needed. We have the direct labor. So in this case, it is calculated with a half operator. That means one operator is responsible for 2 machines. And we have the tool costs. So this is basically the most important things. We can also go more in detail when we want to see that. For example, what is the background of the injection molding machine? Then I can here go inside, and we have here all data from the data sheet of the machine, and also included all parameters that are needed for the calculation of the machine hourly rate. Yeah, basically the calculation is finished, but I want to know, okay, when I produce this in China, what does that mean? And we can do a simple comparison between Romania and China. Therefore, I will add additional variant called China, and now I will change the parameter to China. And then all the data for China will be considered, and we get a new price. So, and that means we have a cost reduction of 29%. And what are the reasons for this reduction? When we look at the material, okay, we have now cheaper material costs. When I go back, first I will save. I go back into Romania, we see here 0.19 euro. And the same thing in the manufacturing costs, we see here manufacturing costs for 0.13. And when I switch to China, we have 0.08 euros per piece. So, and now I want to have the data outside of the Tset software. There are many possibilities for that. I will show you 3 possibilities how to get the data from Tset software into other formats. That means the first is I can export the cost breakdown into Excel. So now you see very clear, very structured cost breakdown for this part. This cost breakdown is standardized, and you can find the most relevant data for this calculation. The second possibility is to open the table view. Here we have a table view of the housing with the material, with the process, with all the data behind the process calculation. And now I have the possibility to structure this view like I need. So, and then I can export the structure that I need, and I only have the most relevant information. You get what you see in this case. And the third possibility, what I want to explain you is it is possible with the Tset software to connect via API interface to another system like ERP system, PLM system, or whatever. And therefore you can get all data or informations from the Tset software directly in another system. Yeah, that was the calculation for the day. We covered how I get the dimension from a 3D model, how I select the shape, how I use a calculation module, how I can compare between different parameters easily, and how I can export the Tset software calculation, the cost breakdown, into other systems. stay tuned for more videos in the series coming soon. Bye!